top fans. I don't have no fans at all. I'm just big videos that has to do with my opinion and my freedom of speech. This one video I want to make is going to be my last for the night. I've been thinking about this for many, many years, even when I was young. And just because of my mother and what my mother stood out to be to me as a piece of royalty that raised me from a young man into an adult. My mother passed away in 2007 from lupus, but I have this thing over my head. I know people will think I'm crazy. People will think I'm odd. People will say, why would you believe something like that? How can you believe something like that? Because I believe women or woman was God. And what I mean by that is, I believe that the woman was here first. And I will always believe that. And the only reason why I believe that because, way before the Bible was created, certain religions worship women, which they don't talk about it at all. At all. They don't talk about religions before Christianity, the Arab religion, and many other religions have been created about 2 to 3,000 years ago. But they don't talk about the religions way before Christianity, the Quran, Hindu, Jehovah's, Baptist, or any other religion was created. A lot of traditions in different countries before religion was widespread throughout Egypt, throughout Kush, throughout the Mayan Empire, through many other empires and kingdoms, women were worshipped as goddesses and as first. That means that they were the birth of men. They were birth of warriors. They were birth of kings. And a lot has been said throughout history to cover that up because women were looked down upon throughout history. So we will never, ever, ever, ever know the true origin of creation and who became first. But in my heart of hearts, I believe women were created first because if men can't give birth, only the man can only fertilize the egg, and you have the Y in the chromosome that comes from the male and female. I might have said it wrong, but both chromosomes come from the male and the female. How is it that the fetus starts off as female until the X and Y chromosomes comes to creation of a child? Because I never understood why men are so afraid to actually believe a woman can be a god or a goddess or a creator because we are so afraid of the woman and we look down upon the woman. And like I said, before religion was ever created, before Christianity, before Islam, before any religion ever was ceased to exist on planet Earth, there were religious beliefs in praying into different meanings of, you know, people. Like if a woman carried a child for 9 months and gave birth on that ninth month, pushing, screaming, and pushing out of a child out to the smallest part of the body, which is the vagina, and this baby comes to be crying, and only the mother can hold the child, make the child feel comfortable, make the child feel at ease, make the child stop crying. And only the mother's scent, the child smells first before the father's scent will ever be smelled. And why is the mother the one that protects the child more than the father? Why is the child more comfortable around the mother than the father? Why is the mother's nutrients more important than any nutrients that the child has ever taken from plant life, animal, whatever? Because the mother's nutrients comes from her body, from her breast milk. Why can't a father do the same? It's just my opinion. I don't want nobody to snap at me, call me names, disrespect me, because this is my belief. I believe that women had created man. The woman created man. And the only reason why I believe that, because if the son is so attached to the mother, why is it not the other way around if the son is attached to the father? I don't. I try to understand that. Why am I closest to my mother than am I closest to my father? And even if my father was in my life, I still would be more closer to my mother, because my mother's a nurturer. My mother is really actually the guider. She protects me more than the father does. The father can leave. The father can move on. The mother never can leave. The mother can never, unless she wants to give the child up for adoption, but the mother can never leave a child to be alone. I don't give a damn if the mother can't stand the child, but the mother will always be there. Why is it that? I don't understand. Why is the father so different than the mother? Why is the mother so dedicated to take care of her responsibility as a mother, then the father doesn't dedicate his responsibilities to take care of a family unless he is forced to, unless he wants to? He could if he wants to, but some don't. Some just disappear. Some don't even want to take care of a family. Some don't even want children, but they have children. It's just my opinion. People hate, men don't like that. We always believe in the Bible that man is the first, the man will be the last. We always will read that God is a man. That's all we have read throughout 2,000 years, ever since the Bible was written. And way before, like I said, the Bible was put together, and many, many other stories, they always will have the woman has been worshipped by different religious beliefs. Not religious beliefs in, like, Christian beliefs, but I'm talking about, like, they will put just look at it. Most of Zodiac and most of the stars are named after women. They're named after women. Like, and even during the time of Zimbabwe and Egypt, women were worshipped. The mothers were worshipped as gods, believing that only women give birth to kings. Now, I know a lot of men are going to say, well, what about the sperm? But the sperm fertilizes the egg. Everybody know what fertilization is, right? What fertilizing is, right? That don't mean that it creates a child. It doesn't mean that it creates a child. It fertilizes the egg. It gets the egg ready for creation, like the X and Y chromosomes to actually start developing inside the egg. So the egg can actually start creating itself into a child. So basically, the man's sperm, what it really is a man's sperm, is only one sperm that only fertilizes one egg. Now, the egg is split itself, but the egg, but we, like I said, we don't know. I believe man doesn't know that much about the human existence. That's why we will always say that man is a god, because we don't know nothing about creation, but we're trying to. But I believe that the woman has a big, huge part in creation, because if God just created a man and a woman, why did he create both at the same time? But men will say, no, man was created first than the woman. How do we know this? How don't you know if God came down as a woman first, created the woman first, then created man out of, just because The woman wanted to, she was interested in seeing that she could create something else that's the opposite of her. Just like everybody will think God created something the opposite of him, which will be a female. But I believe that God was a female and she got curious and wanted to create something the opposite of her. So she created man. And when she created man in a way that probably was fucked up and messed up because I believe that man had no intention to be smart. Because you see what Adam, you see what Eve did to Adam. You see what Lilith did to Adam. Both played the living hell out of him. And they really thought that Adam was stupid. And I believe that when women was created, you got to understand how smart women are. Women probably are the smartest beings on the planet that could do anything to a man, that make a man do anything that it wants him to do, want him to do for her. Regardless of what men say, women have power over men, and it's been like that for many millennials, probably for over a million years. Men will never admit this because us men, we're very hard headed. We think that we're better than everybody. We think that we're smarter than the woman, and we're not. And we know that we're not. That's why we're afraid of them. That's why we put them down. And even if we call them goddesses, we have to tear them down. Because if you teach a woman how to be a man, which you can do, a woman will never be as strong as a man because that's not supposed to happen. A woman doesn't want to be stronger than a man. She wants to just be smarter than a man. She wants to be more intelligent than a man. She don't want to be stronger than a man. She don't want to lift 50 or 100 to 300 pounds. She's not competing in that aspect of trying to be better than a man. The only thing a woman's trying to do is do what she always been doing, outsmart the man. Because you can teach a woman how to hunt. You can teach a woman how to, you know, farm. You can teach a woman how to be a mason. You can teach a woman how to be a mechanic. You can teach a woman the same thing. But the thing is that a man can't teach a child to be an adult. Only a woman can teach a child to be an adult. You know why? Because a woman is supposed to teach a child how to become an adult because that's what she was created for. So if you think that a man is here to take care of a family, to raise a family by himself, that never can happen because without the woman, the man won't be anything. Just because a man got money in his pocket doesn't make him more wiser or more intelligent than the woman. When a woman doesn't need that to survive, because she's been taking care of a child for how long? And a man is basically in and out of a child's life because a man doesn't live that, men haven't lived that long to take care of a child by themselves. Now, what do you ever hear most men take care of children by themselves? You don't hear a man raising a daughter or a son by himself or children by himself. It's rare. Like you would hear a woman take care of a son and a daughter or multiple kids by herself. Now, I'm not going to say men can't do it, but men have to learn how to do it. A woman doesn't have to learn to be a mother because they already know how to be a mother. A man has to learn to be a father because a man never was taught how to be a father. We are taught how to be kids. We're taught how to be children. We're taught how to be boys. So when we grow up, all we know how to do is try to be responsible and try to be, a man that protects our children and our wives. But we don't learn that when we're young. Women learn that when they're young. And these type of videos make men straight away. It make women straight away too because women don't understand how much respect I have for them. To call them call them a god, because like I said, men has been putting pressure on women for many millennials to make women look like they're inferior, like they don't have no type of power. They were always called incubus or they were called other names that were very disrespectful from men, just because men just feel like women have no place and being equal to man. So they'll throw them to the wolves. You know, you can see it through past history how women were treated, you know, and men still to this day feel that women are still the same way to be treated. And when the man comes out and says that I believe a woman is God or God is a woman, I will get so much hate, so much anger and evil towards me because of a book that's been written 2,000 years ago, you know, that placed this man upon everybody and never gotten an opportunity to actually say, you know what, it might be a disagreement in that or an opinion of, in that of saying that man might not be God. It might be woman that's God. But never get an opportunity to ever have that subject or have that conversation because men will never want to have that conversation because they'll laugh and they'll bring up strength and they'll bring up other things like war and all. What is so difficult about a woman knowing about war? What is so difficult about women knowing about creation, about nurturing and doing other things? Because isn't God supposed to be a nurturing God? So God doesn't have any children that He raises Himself, but the woman has to do all the raising. That's what it doesn't make any sense to me. When you have a women out there that give birth, that carries a child for 9 months and pushes it out of a little hole, and then takes care of the child until it's an adult, and still takes on that responsibility even after the child's an adult, still being a mother. It's hard for men to understand that because some of us men were so jealous of the nurturing that women give children, we can't do the same thing. We don't know how to do the same thing because our grandmothers or our mothers have to teach us because we don't raise children by ourselves. We have help. Women really don't basically have help raising children because they do it on their own. This is the reason why I have fight with guys because guys want to say, well, women are doing this and doing that to their children, but you got to understand what they go through every day to raise a child by themselves, and men don't have to do that. Us men, we can get up and walk out of our children's lives anytime we want to without no consequences. A woman can't do that. A woman can't walk out of her child's life without consequences because she's always going to go back or she's always going to want her child back. I don't give a fuck if the mother can't stand the child, hate the child. She's going to find a way to raise that child into an adult and let it find its own way. Like a female lion will do to her cubs. She will raise her cubs to a certain age and let her cubs go and do what they have to do as grown cubs. Because you ever look at a female lion, the female lion is the only one that takes care of the responsibility of taking care of the cubs while the lion lays around and don't do absolutely freaking nothing. You know, they'll say he hunts, but he doesn't hunt. He takes his food, he takes his own cubs' food and away from them. Like it's a dominating thing that us men do. We love to dominate over everything. We don't we don't like we love control. And when I look at the way women have been created and when they're born, they're so innocent. So in us men, we adore our daughters. And that's the reason why I believe woman is God. Because how is us men we are so adored by we adore our daughters. Like we adore them. We love them. We protect them. You know, like the angels would do to protect God. We do the same thing to our female daughters and to our mothers and to our grandmothers and any females in our family. We protect them. And outside of our family, it may be a little bit different, but our family is different for us because we're more into protecting our family than we are protecting a female outside of our family. But like I said, and I know a lot of men are going to look at me and say I'm weird, I'm crazy. I don't care. I don't care. It's my opinion. It's my freedom of opinion to believe what I want to believe. Because, like I said, I don't believe there's a God, period. But if there is a God, I believe the female is God. Because there's no way that a man can be God. Because us men, we are all about power. We're all about control. We're all about being the head of the household. That's all we are. Women are not like that. Women are more, they're not in control. They're more like they want to nurture, and if it comes to children, that's what I always believe, that women is God because of the way they take care of kids. Us men, we don't do that. We don't know how to do that. We were not raised to do that. We were never created to do that. Females are. Females are the ones that learn from probably 5 or 6 years old how to push a baby cart, how to burp a baby, how to change a baby's diaper. Little girls can babysit at a very fucking young age. Us men, I don't think that we could do it. Yeah, we could watch a child, but it'll be difficult us to change the child. It'd be difficult us to feed the child. We can protect the child, of course. But the things that a woman can do, a man can't do. And that's the thing is, that's the reason why I think it's just two different things. And this is the reason why I believe men, us men, we're very jealous of the woman because we can't do the same thing that they can do. And even though women are doing feminine things and men are supposed to do masculine things, just think about it. You could teach a female how to be a motherfucking man if you really want to, but you can't teach a man how to be a woman. You can't, because a female is always going to adapt. And then women has adapt through thousands of years of raising children and becoming the head of the household, because women are the head of the household. Regardless of what men think, money doesn't put you ahead of a household. It's because you're making dead presidents that are former slave owners that was created from out of a stencil to buy food and to pay rent. Yes, that's part of life. Men been doing this for a very long time through trade, but it doesn't make them men because they're taking care of a household with money. That's but what happens when money is gone? How is a man going to take care of his child when the woman is still doing the same thing she did, even though that money existed? Because once money is gone, she's going to still do the same exact thing when money is in her life. She's going to take her responsibility as a mother. What will the father do? Will the father get jealous? Will the father get angry because he can't be the head of the household no more because he doesn't have money to support? Or are we going to sit here and we're going to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to learn how to be a responsible father by watching my child's mother raise my child, and I can help because I believe that if a man is going to be responsible, he has to learn how to be a father to take care of the responsibilities if the mother passes away. Because if you're not going to be a father once the mother passed away, you wasn't the father in the first place. I just got a message because I posted something on my other uh, uh, app, and somebody asked me why do I think that a woman is God. It's just my opinion. Like, you can't take my opinion away from me. I don't give a damn how much you don't like it. I don't care what people think about my opinion. This is my opinion. If you don't believe it, okay. Why do y'all believe God is a man? Just tell me why you believe God is a man. Because somebody told you this, or you went to church, or you've been hearing this for a long period of time, or a, you never met God, so you have no choices to make of your own free will to say, okay, maybe God is a woman, but you only believe what the Bible tells you. That's only 2,000 years old. That was created 500 years after Jesus died. So from people saying that they have, gone through all these different things and all these blessings and many other things. But how do you know who they spoken to? They might told you that it was a man, but it probably was a woman that they probably heard. Because you gotta understand, we are so, how can I say, we are so loving to our mothers because men are really attached to we are attached to our moms. So I don't understand how men don't believe that woman is a god. When our mother, we believe that our mother are goddesses. We love our mother so much. We believe that they're the creators of the world because they're always there for us. They're always trying to defend us. They're always taking care of us. They're always nurturing us. So how in the world a man doesn't feel that their mother is probably God? How? Why does a woman look at a woman and say, no, it can't be, it has to be a man? Why does a man have to be God? Why? Why does he have to be? Why can't it be a woman? Why can't a woman create the earth, create the animals, create the stars, the skies, the moon? How is it? Because in Egyptian religion, they have multiple women goddesses that created the earth. Multiple. And like I said before, in a lot of religions, before Christianity was ever created, before Jesus and God was ever created, women were worshipped more than men through the Mayans, through many other religions, through the Indian religion, you know, through like many other religions like the Greek religions. They believe multiple women being goddesses. And even in the Roman religion, they believe that their mothers were gods. So why is it that now all of a sudden that when you hear the word woman and God put together, you're seeing guys get all pissed off? You're starting to see women do the same thing, get mad. And I tell women, leave the religion of Christianity alone because they force you to believe that they force you into this religion that they don't even want you even believing. They don't even want you worshiping God. Period. Man. Period. They don't want you worshiping Him. So I don't understand. Like, why can't I have my opinion? Why can't that be my belief system? Why do I gotta look at it to be crazy? Why do I gotta look at it to be nutty and all that other kind of stuff? It's just my opinion. You know what I mean? If God is a man, he's a man. But if God is a woman, what if? What if man seeing a woman God? What would man do? Would he be afraid? Would he shake his head? Would he not believe? If God came down right now as a woman, what would man say? Would he respect the woman God, or he would disrespect the woman God? Because it didn't turn out to be what he thought it would be. Because for me, I don't care who the fuck it is, but honestly, I do really do care, and I hope it is a woman because I don't want man to be God. Because I think that we are always weak in the sense of us being weak as we are so trying to be dominant over everything. We're trying to use our our leverage of the Bible to say that women have no equal to us. And it's so sad when we have daughters and mothers and grandmothers and aunts and nieces and we see women as unequal. And it's sad. But this is my video. I don't care what anybody think of me. All these messages down here probably are hateful towards me anyway. But bless to everybody.